Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 41 of Nuts and Bolts. I'm David Reinhardt, and I'm here with Dustin Triplett
Hello.
and Jared Brazil.
Hey guys.
And we're back after our short hiatus.
Summer
Um,
vacation,
yeah, summer vacation. We're here to talk about season 4 of Game of Thrones.
which ended a couple weeks ago and was wonderful and
It
had.
was wonderful.
Am I the only one who's read?
No, I've read the books.
Okay.
I'm current.
I'm not. I'm
haven't
actually.
read.
I'm a couple chapters away from the end of the fifth one.
Oh God! Oh man! Oh, we have to talk about this later then. When you finish, you and I.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Because
I'm sorry. Every time I get to a Bran fucking chapter, I want to shoot myself in the face.
why? I love Bran stuff.
Ugh, him and.
I'd much rather have a Bran chapter than a fucking Daenerys chapter. God,
I
her
agree.
her story has been so boring after the first book.
Agreed. Yeah, it was shit, but that's okay. And let's talk about that because that was one of the big things in season 3 was Daenerys becoming the queen and her dragons being assholes to everyone, and that was the big reveal at the end of 3. Does anyone care? Everyone on the internet seems to care. I don't care about Daenerys at all.
Well, one of the characters I really like was recast this season and is part of Daenerys' story, but I still don't care about her story. Oh God, what's his name?
Nario?
Yeah, Dario.
Pretty
Dario.
boy?
Yeah. I don't know why they recast him and then still didn't make him look like he did in the book.
I'm still
I mean-
bitter about that.
That they recast him or that they don't.
That they recast him.
I like the new guy way better. So,
I like the other guy though. The problem is, it's like he was so, just his looks. He was so unique. He was like, yeah, that's a very
was
pretty
weird.
man.
but Dario is supposed to have a beard, like he has like a three-colored beard and crazy hair and wears like flashy clothes.
Blue hair, right?
I'm still mad that Daenerys doesn't have fucking purple eyes. How difficult is that? Take 20.
I didn't even realize she was supposed to have purple eyes. I guess I ignored that part of the book.
Yeah, the Targaryens have purple eyes and silver hair, which she has, but not purple eyes. I think.
That seems like such an easy thing to do. It's like literally just contacts.
Yeah, that's. I
Or
mean,
After Effects.
yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you know.
There was this season, or no, what was it? Yeah, it was this season. Had some good Daenerys moments. Like when she's taking the cities, it's fun. It was fun to read, in my opinion. But then that was the battle was interesting and exciting, but every other part of her story is so boring. And just,
Well, the
I mean,
story.
this season 5. Well, I don't want to say it. Never mind. But I just like. Especially now where we left off is just like it just crawls. It just crawls.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they did change the the sacking of Marine Astapor in this one, where they go into the sewers. They give the slaves weapons and say, "Hey, good luck with that."
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
we'll
did.
be
I
back.
like that.
I do too. I know. But that was kind of the reason why, like in the books, because they did kick what's his name out, right? They kicked fuck. The fucking guy they kicked out of Daenerys' camp. Jorah Mormont. In the book, Danny basically sends him on a suicide mission into the sewers. Like, yeah, well, if you don't work, whatever, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So it was kind of, I mean, they ended up kicking him out anyway, but it was kind of more, I thought that gave Daenerys more of like a, yeah, I don't really give a shit about anyone's life if they fucking cross me. Yeah, you guys can just go in the sewers and die. And then they didn't die, but it was still the kind of the point was for them to go and not
Yeah.
make it out.
And
You look so confused, Dustin.
I am.
Okay.
I haven't read the book, so it's like,
but you understand what the characters we're talking about, right?
yeah, they totally have
Characters.
Jorah Mormont was Daenerys' right hand man. You know, the guy that
wants to fuck her.
Yeah,
Ah,
that was
him.
from Bear Island.
I don't
Um,
remember what island he was on in. Was that ever like mentioned in the show?
It probably
yes.
wasn't. Who knows?
That's because he wanted to go back there. That's why he was originally spying on her, and then he stopped, and then she kicked him out.
Yeah, I liked him. I
I
thought he
like
was
him
a
too.
thought he was a good character. It's like one of those characters that redeems himself early on, and then it's like you just know he's gonna end up getting fucked over.
My favorite character that hasn't been killed yet had a lot of good moments this season. I love Davos.
Oh
Or
yeah. Well,
I love the Onion Knight.
yeah. Davos is a great kind of, tragic character. All his sons die in that horrible battle and all the green flames, and somehow he survives. And he's just so loyal, which is nice, but he's just like he's always like one you're always like one step away from just being murdered. Like everyone hates him, like he's always in jail. He's always getting
I
completely
know, but I
fucked.
like him so much.
Oh, he's great. No, I think he's awesome, and I think he did have a number of good moments. Um, they didn't really show. I don't remember seeing too much of him. He was in the final episode. He was with. He kind
This
of.
wasn't this the season where Stannis' daughter was teaching him how to read?
That
Yeah,
was the
that was
last
this.
season. That was
Was
last
it?
season, wasn't it?
I don't know. I watched these
I
two
think it was
so
last
close
season.
together.
Yeah, I did too, but I don't think it was this season.
I don't know. But regardless, like I really even if I really like that character. There's a bit in the books where wait, has that I don't think that's happened yet. Never mind.
Davos is. They kind of. Davos was kind of a badass in the books because he breaks the siege of Dragonstone and kind of saves everyone's life by bringing onions in on a little boat, and then
Yeah.
he has that whole thing with Melisandre and the fucking weird shadow thing, and
Yeah.
he does a lot of really important things for just some random knight who kind of picked the right horse.
Oh, used to be a smuggler.
Yeah, and he cut his fingers off, and
Yeah, that's like he's a very deep, like layered character, like an onion.
Wah,
Onions have
wah.
layers, like ogres, and not parfait. I don't know why Shrek came to mind, but
I don't know
but
either.
but I but I that's why I really like Davos. Like he's really interesting, and yeah, he's kind of just thrust into the middle of things, unlike most of the main characters, like they're lords and ladies and stuff. I think that's why I like Davos so much. Is he's kind of a normal guy who's had to adapt and deal with all of this crazy shit.
Yeah, and he knows how to get things done too.
Hmm.
He goes to the whorehouse and he's like, "Hey, by the way, I got lots of money. Let's do this shit." Pirate guy, whose name escapes me at the moment, Saladar
Yeah.
Stan. He really does do a lot of little things that one show his character and two make you like him. He's a likable guy. Like he never
Yeah.
does. So many of the other characters just do shitty things. Davos is just like kind of this humble, like, yeah, I love you, Stannis, and I really hope you become king. But
I
it's
guess
okay if you want to throw me in jail every episode. That's
I
cool.
yeah, I guess that's why I also love Tyrion so much. Is Tyrion and Davos are kind of cut sort of from the same cloth. They're very likable people. They're always out for what they perceive as the greater good. Like they don't want to. They're not out for personal gain and glory or all that, and they just get fucked over constantly.
I mean, Tyrion's probably everyone's favorite, and he's my favorite, and he's probably everyone's because he's awesome, and his speeches are great, and his motivations are great. Um, but yeah, he gets fucked over all the time. And I was waiting for him to murder that fucking asshole for
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
2 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know it's coming. I know they're gonna kill that motherfucker, and I can't wait. And then they disappointed me because they didn't do the line, which he says for the next two books, which I'm really kind of bummed out about.
What's the line?
In the book, um, Tyrion has this. We see the Tyrion and Jaime part where Jaime's like, "Hey, I love you, man. I'm gonna save you," and he does. And then Tyrion goes, "Hey, you remember my wife? Dad says she was a whore," and Jaime just tells him like, "By the way, she wasn't a whore. She just really loved you." the one person who's ever loved you for who you are and didn't know who you are was really a real person and not a whore. And Tyrion gets super pissed off and basically hits him and says, I fucking never want to see you again. And he just says horrible shit to him. And they leave on bad terms. Like Jaime and Tyrion leave as enemies because Tyrion's so mad, and Jaime loves his brother, but Tyrion just knows how to hurt him. So Tyrion's all sorts of pissed off now. That's the reason why he goes to find his father. He's like, fuck this. He killed, he's had my love of my life like raped and harmed. And before he kills him, he asks his dad, Where is she? What happened to her? Where did she go? He wants to find his love of his life, his wife. And Tywin goes, wherever whores go. And then Tyrion kills him. And for the rest,
Tywin wasn't also sleeping with Shay in the book. Like, isn't she locked in the dungeon? I thought.
No. He in the book, Tyrion murders her in the same way by strangling her with the interlocking hand necklace. That's what she's wearing.
I swore he stumbled across someone in a dungeon. Someone stumbled across someone tied up in a dungeon.
It's not her. She was definitely murdered in Tywin's.
No, I remember
cellar.
that now. You're right. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I remember that. Yeah, the interlocking hands. I remember that now.
Yeah, it's the hand of the king necklace that she's wearing, and that's what Tyrion chokes her to death with. And then, because she's obviously betrays Tyrion, and then that one line.
She's just like such a petty. Like, Tyrion, she was hurt because Tyrion sent her away, even though she could easily figure out he was trying to protect her.
Well, I think what most people said for her in this season was they really characterize her as a good person, and they show her, because we can see her actions, we can see her body language, we see that maybe she really does love him very much. And then you have this like mass betrayal at the end, because like the last person in the world that Tyrion would want to see with Shay is his dad. Because his dad has hated him ever since he quote-unquote murdered his mother in childbirth.
Yeah.
And that betrayal is so raw. He just literally just chokes the fucking life out of her. She's already sentenced him to death. Like, she already betrayed him on the stand, and she tries to murder him with a knife, and then he just, has this horrible moment where he has no choice but to kill her. And it's really powerful because Tyrion loved her. Like, you could tell that Tyrion really cared for her. And she leaves him for her dad, just like Tyrion's dad took away his first wife from him.
Yeah. Man. Peter Dinklage really sells. He was really the perfect choice for that role too. He really does sell that performance, and you can see it even without having read the books. Like, you can read the emotions in his face that are, written down.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why everyone's favorite is Tyrion, because he has the best lines and he has the best story, and he's lovable, even though he always does the right thing, like when he hits Joffrey and says, "Fucking stop doing that! Like, stop being such an asshole." He's the only one who stands up to Joffrey, like literally the only person, and he's like, "Oh fuck, why is he gonna get like he didn't murder." He didn't murder Joffrey. We know he didn't, but he's still going to go to jail. Oh, no, is he going to go to the wall? Oh, no, like, how is he going to get out of this? And you just keep waiting for something to go right with Tyrion, and it never does, until he gets to vanquish his own father, which is like that's his destiny, right? Like, his dad hates him, and he has, he should be the one in charge. Like, Tyrion, if you had to choose one of the horrible, horrible Lannisters to run Westeros, you want to choose Tyrion. He's smart and caring enough to be.
Yeah, Jaime's becoming that slowly.
But Jaime doesn't have the aptitude for it.
He doesn't. I agree with you. But that was when I knew Game of Thrones was as brilliant as it is. Was when I spent an entire book hating a character and despising their very being, and then the next two books, and then through these seasons, I really like Jaime Lannister as a character. When I read the books, his chapter was one that I was excited to read, because if you don't if you just watch the show. The books are divided up. Each chapter focuses on a different character. And I really liked Jamie's stuff. Like he becomes a much like he can't be forgiven for the things he's done, and but he realizes that. It's like he's realized how terrible he was and is trying to be better.
He does, and in the books, there's a lot more. Like Jamie's kind of, Jamie has a lot of there's a lot of time when he's on the road with Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah, that was a lot.
A lot of stuff. There's a lot of time, and he really kind of transforms from this, pompous asshole who's pushing children out of windows to save his own skin to this like self-aware, like, oh, I've fucking just wasted my entire life doing the wrong thing and being a bad guy. Because when we think about it, him killing that king, not a bad thing. He was that king Targaryen was a bad guy. They called him the Mad King for a reason.
Yeah,
he did bad stuff. He could have taken the Iron Throne too. In the books, they talk about how Jaime is literally in front of the Iron Throne. He could have just sat down and be like, "Oh, king now, motherfucker." Like, what now?
He stepped aside.
He stepped aside and then let the Baratheon do it. And I don't think his dad ever forgave him for it because he's like, "Look, we could have been fucking king here. What are you doing?" But Jaime did what he had to do, and even though that wasn't popular, and even though everyone kind of made fun of him for the rest of that time as the Kingslayer, he still does what he has to do. He definitely cares, but through his own trials and tribulations, he becomes more of a human being than just a fucking asshole, which is nice.
So that's all it takes, though, to be king, is just like to sit down on the throne.
Well, if your dad's already the hand of the king, and you've already murdered the other king, and you have a big army, yeah. I mean, in the books, he has like this giant army, and they're all paid for with Lannister gold, and there's already like another army coming to take it. Like it wasn't like if you just sit on the throne, you win. It was kind of like we were gonna win regardless, but I could have just been the one who said, you know what? There wasn't like an election. They're like, okay, who's going to be king now? Whoever basically filled the vacuum, and they could get people.
Yeah, it was the lords rebelling. It wasn't like someone trying to claim the throne. They were rebelling against the Mad King because he was batshit crazy and like subjugating the people and starving them. So everyone rebelled, and that's what happened. And it just
Ned Stark could have been king. If he wanted, like Ned Stark could have taken it.
He never would have been, though.
He never would have been. Jaime could have taken it. Like, there's a number of people that could have taken the throne after the Mad King's death, but it was given to Robert as probably the best warrior.
Yeah. Well, he had his big hammer.
He did. He had a giant fucking hammer.
Warhammer.
Yes. Dustin seems so confused.
Hammers,
man.
cool.
Who is your favorite character? Since we'll go back to Tyrion in a second.
I'm gonna have to go with Tyrion.
Yeah, I mean he's probably the.
Who's your favorite that's not Tyrion?
The Hound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has so many fantastic one-liners. It's just like, for someone who's so easily hateable, he's also so likable.
He's another one that has a major transformation because...
Well, I don't think he really has a transformation. You just get to see more of him. Like, you realize why he does what he does. And because when you're first introduced, he's just like a cold killer who's operating at the whims of Robert Baratheon. And but then you start to spend more time with him and realize he has this like really tragic past and is basically just trying to survive.
Well, I think he cares about Arya too. Like I think
he does,
and that's the thing. Like he didn't give a shit about Joffrey. He did not care a fuck lick about Joffrey.
Well, because he knew what Joffrey was, and he was trying to protect Sansa at the same time. Like,
yeah,
you could tell it wasn't just he. I do feel like he cared for Arya and Sansa, but you could tell like he was, for all he did, he still was kind of noble at heart. But he was just expected to be a terrible person, so he kind of went with that.
He kind of saw everything for what it really is, while
Yeah.
everyone else is just kind of, clouded by what they want. He knows it's like the world is shit. Everyone's out to get you, and you
Just
kind
like-
of have to
kinda
care for
just like-
yourself.
Just like Tyrion, except unlike Tyrion, he could be, a strong warrior. But I mean, he is also disfigured, and that I didn't realize the strong parallels between them until just now, actually.
Yeah, they definitely have. There's definitely a you know a the, Martin definitely does something where your outer persona does not match what you have inside. Like we really come to enjoy Jamie when he gets disfigured. Once he has, no hand, that's when he really becomes this like likable character. Like wow, he's
But
really
it's because
thinking about it.
he realized how much of an asshole he had been when he was just relying on being a strong warrior. He was a
Sure.
cocky son of a bitch. That was his problem.
But that's the thing. Think about the characters that we loved that we talked about. We talked about Davos, who's had his hands cut off,
His okay, well,
his fingers cut off.
I totally agree with that. Except one of my other favorite characters is Jon. Well, I guess Jon Snow's a bastard. He's not disfigured, but
Yeah.
he's shunned. God damn it! Do I like
Yes.
anyone who's not subjugated?
Well, no, that's the whole point, right? Like the whole point is you love Salazar Sand, who's this fucking rad ass pirate
Yeah,
who's
that's
going
true.
around doing his thing. Who do you hate? If I can tell, I know what the answer is. Who do you hate in that show? We all know the answer. Who?
Tywin.
No, we don't hate. Who do we really hate? Who's still alive?
Who's still alive right now? Fuck.
Yes. This is not a hard question. Dustin, who do you hate that's still alive?
I'm trying to think of who's all still alive, and it's like the number keeps getting shorter.
This is such an easy question. Cersei Lannister is a fucking horrible.
Oh,
human
Cersei. Yeah,
being.
sorry. Yeah, of course, of
Seriously,
course,
how
of
did I
course,
not?
of course. How did I not? Duh. Yes.
That's the answer, by the way. The answer is Cersei, and Cersei is fucking terrible.
She's
So,
awful.
but what is she? She is perfect and alabaster skin and beautiful hair and beautiful eyes and always well dressed.
She needs to bleach her eyebrows, but other than
She needs
that,
to bleach
yes,
her eyebrows.
I really like all of the people that we'll meet in the next couple seasons because we do. This isn't a spoiler. We start spending some time in Dorne because for those who haven't forgotten, Marcella, the princess and technical heiress to the throne. If you're one of the citizens that doesn't believe the true incest story, so we go back there, and I like the people in Dorne a lot, and they're not disfigured or whatever.
Yes, they are.
Not all of them.
Well, some of them are. Think of that's the thing you talk about. They're not disfigured. Davos and I guess Arya's not disfigured except her
Arya's
fucking heart's. Except her heart's fucking done. Like she's the blackest motherfucker ever. Yeah, I'm just gonna take your gold and you're gonna sit here and die. Fuck you. I don't care if you've been taking
Well,
care of me.
that was they were friends, but that was like she still had like she realized that even though they were friends and she did like him, he still deserved to suffer for what he had done.
Arya's the angel of death in that fucking
Yes,
book,
God,
right?
I love Arya so much.
Arya is the best storyline. It was one of my favorite chapters.
Yeah, she is.
Arya comes out.
Arya has her story has stayed the best throughout the entire show. Like everyone else, even Tyrion and stuff can wane at times when there's just like a lot of conversation that's not Tyrion being a smart ass. It's just like we have to deal with shit. But anytime Arya comes up, she's always fighting against the odds and like on this crazy ass adventure, and it's amazing.
And we look at how broken the Stark children are. We have Arya, who is literally like zero love left. Like my whole family's dead. I don't give a shit about anyone. I don't care. Like she wants vengeance, but she doesn't have love. She's black. And then we see the same thing with Sansa. Sansa's all fucking dressed up. Sees her aunt gets pushed through the moon door. She comes back the next day in fucking full Darth Vader gear, all black, ready to get this shit done. Like she's done too. All the Stark kids have been totally fucking ravaged. We haven't heard from Tommen in forever. Who knows what happened to him?
Not Tom. Yeah.
Tommen's somewhere. We don't know where. He's
Which
just
one
gone.
is he?
He's the youngest one.
He's the little one that's with oh god, what's her name?
The wilding woman.
Yeah.
Whose name I can't remember. And then we have, the obviously broken Bran. We have Jon Snow, who is, the outcast. Like, the Stark family. And then we have Catelyn, which, though, she got fucking fucked up at the Red Wedding.
And so did Rob.
Yeah. The Stark family is basically all ravaged. But as we were talking about, we love the characters who have been hurt. The ones who have born with problems, who have been hurt, who have been disfigured. those are the characters that Martin makes you love. They don't make you love. Brienne of Tarth is this giant, manly woman who is awesome, who is strong and brave and compassionate and caring, but she's not Cersei. She's not this pristine person. You kind of don't like Sansa when you first meet her because she's kind of a bitch.
I still don't like Sansa.
Well, it's fine. Yeah. You probably feel bad for her now. You didn't feel bad for her when she was.
Oh, no, I didn't feel bad for her before. I do feel bad for her, but I also find her story very boring and uninteresting.
Yeah. So again, Martin always has this thing where the people you love the most have these major issues. So yes.
And then they die.
And then what's the glaring issue of the savior of the Wall, Stannis Baratheon, who is a giant asshole?
I like Stannis a lot.
I like Stannis a lot too, but he's a douchebag.
He is a douchebag. Well, he's not an asshole. He's just very cold and calculating. Like, he doesn't show much emotion. It's not like, because when I think of asshole, I think of like jackass. Like basically what Jaime was. Like, Stannis is just like, this is the way things need to be done, and if you're not gonna do them, well, I'm the Lord. I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. Like, very letter of the law, and I would never want him to be king.
He's too easily pussy whipped. That's kind of the thing.
It's this, but I mean he's not pussy whipped.
Well, that's
the Lord of the Light is.
When you talk about the Lord of the Light in Game of Thrones, he's kind of the real deal, right? He brings people back from the dead. He's making fucking shadows and shit.
Clearly that what they've shown in the TV show too, the Lord of the Light has some sort of real, whether it's a god or like just someone with like regular magic or something. The Lord of the Light is the real deal, but so are the old gods.
Yeah,
and we've now seen that with Bran, with the children and the. Yeah.
The Seven have done shit, by the way. The Seven have done nothing. That's what we have not done.
The Seven seem to be the fake religion.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I guess you can almost not blame Stannis for be like, yeah, I guess this chick who has magic powers says I'm the reincarnation of their god, and I am to like unite the world against some evil. Like, that's a fucking power trip, right? Like, that's the ultimate power trip.
Yeah, why have we not gotten like a wave of articles from, I don't mean to stir the pot, but I would expect more conservative blogs about how Game of Thrones is denouncing Christianity, because it's not, but the Seven, the what do they call it? What's the actual name of the organization with the
I think it might just be the Seven.
Is it just whatever the regular religion is? The Seven.
That's the default religion of Westeros.
Is the stand-in for Christianity, and it's the only one that's been revealed to not do anything.
It's called the Faith of the Seven, is the exact title.
Okay,
but you're right. That's the one that really doesn't do anything.
And it's very modeled after Christianity and Catholicism especially, but. Yeah.
Why? I mean, one, we probably don't look for it because no one. I'm sure they have it.
That would be all. But I'm just saying, like, that would be all over Facebook if someone wrote about that. Like, if you wouldn't, I wouldn't find it. Maybe someone did blog about it, but no one it never got any traction.
Because people like it too much.
People like it. They don't want to hear any bad things.
Well, it's the thing like Star Wars. Like, I'm sure someone has some bad religious thing about Star Wars, and everyone told them to shut the fuck up because it's like, no, we like Star Wars, asshole. It's not like it's some bad movie.
The prequels, we're still like Star Wars enough to tell you shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we do. Star Wars has built up enough equity, and I think Game of Thrones has too. You've put out 4 amazing seasons. You've put out 40 hours of amazing content, gripping content with good and evil and fucking magic and dragons and sword fights and nudity and sex. That gives you a lot of fucking leeway. If you start talking bad about everyone's favorite show, and I've definitely seen it. There's I saw some stuff about how there's not enough. There's too many white people. Like, it's just all white people, and it's just like, okay, Martin made a show with lots of white people. I'm sorry, but there's definitely people talking about it. But a lot of people are like, we love Game of Thrones, so fuck you.
Side note.
Side note.
Was there or was there were there or were there weren't the people from Dorne weren't they black in the book? Like I feel like
Olive
that was
skinned, I
kind
think.
all was it olive skinned? I feel like I don't
Let me
know.
look it up. I'm on the. If you want to follow along, I'm on the Wiki of Ice and Fire. Geography, people. Dorne's the least populous kingdom. Dornishmen differ. Blah blah blah. Relative Dornishmen have royal customs. Blah 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 blah. Hot-bloodedness, sexual. Ooh, nice. Viewed as minority. Dornishmen. No, even in the pictures, they look pretty.
Oh.
They look pretty. Ethnicity, with smooth olive skin, black hair, and dark eyes. They are, that type of thing. They are, olive skin, black hair, dark eye type thing. If you want to talk about the black people, that would be the Summer Islanders. The Summer Islanders are the black people.
Okay. Like Strong Belwas.
Yes. Was Strong Bill? I didn't picture him as that, but he very well might have been. Who's not in the book?
Totally black in the show.
Was he in the show?
No, you said he was, but who was not in the book, and I was correcting you to say who's not in the show.
Belwas is a tanned eunuch, Colossus.
Oh, I thought he was.
That's the thing. One of my friends actually had his friend dress up as Strong Belwas to the convention. I'm like, I have no fucking idea what that looks like, because that's not what I pictured him as. The problem with cosplaying from books is you see characters completely different than I see characters. So it looks like
I imagined Game of Thrones to be more diverse than maybe it actually was.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the continent they're on is like North America or Europe.
Yeah, it's
I
the
guess.
white people continent.
Yeah, and there's definitely other continents with other people. Like, we saw Dario, and we see lots of the slaves in other places, the Dothraki and what have you. But they're taking place mostly in Europe in this world, and also it's because it's someone's fucking book, and maybe that's what he knows. I don't know. But people get mad because they want what they want, and that's fine, and it's not a problem.
I don't want to talk about how people think there should be more diversity in television. I agree, but I don't think that means we should take down shows that are very well written and acted and just amazing overall because they're not quote unquote diverse enough.
You ever seen a Bollywood picture? Not very diverse.
No.
What are you gonna do? I'd be happy. I don't care. Like, they can make the whole cat. Like when they made what's his name from Thor black, I didn't care. He was red.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
That was great. As long as you have good people doing the roles, I could care less what color they are. But some people are kind of upset, and I guess I understand. But Tyrion's great, and Game of Thrones is awesome, and that's what we're talking about. Game of Thrones.
Do either of you watch Louis?
Of course, he's great.
I do.
You saw this last season, right?
I'm a couple of episodes behind him.
Did you see the episode where there's that comment about how are Louis's kids white when their mom's super black?
Yeah. Well,
our conversation just made me think of that.
Well, I mean, Louis, there was the big thing a couple years ago when they first introduced Louis' wife, and Louis just like, she was the best actress, so I chose her.
Yeah, no, like the fact that it shouldn't matter or whatever,
Yeah,
like,
it shouldn't matter.
And that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
That show's so good too.
Yeah, it show's great. But he has Keith Robinson on, and he has a bunch of there's a bunch of great comics that he will put on that show, and a lot of them are white, and a lot of people in the United States are white. I guess I don't know. And if he wants to have more, I don't, hire whoever you want. It's great. I understand. You want more people that you relate with? I understand. Totally. But, we're talking about Game of Thrones here, which it does have lots of white people. And we did get to see that Jon Snow himself saved Castle Black and probably, everyone.
Yeah.
From a wilding invasion.
That was such a great episode.
Because he's a fucking badass motherfucker.
I almost thought that the finale was going to be like the Battle of the Wall was going to be 2 parts, which I would have been totally okay with.
No. If they didn't kill Tywin, I would have fucking rioted. They needed to kill him. Tywin needed to die.
Yeah, I think what they did was much better because they couldn't have left that season with all those threads hanging, especially with Tyrion's execution or whatever.
Well, the other thing was that when I read the book, that battle didn't last that long to me. Like, there was definitely a battle, but then it was like, hey, we're having this battle. and they
But
were
there
trying to
were
get the,
yeah, there was a lot. There was just a lot going on.
yeah, but then all of a sudden the cleanup crew came and that battle was fucking over.
Yeah.
Once Stannis came, that thing was done, and there
Well,
wasn't anything they were doing about it.
I'm just really excited for what happens next at the wall. Like the wall is one of the most interesting parts of every book, I think.
Yes, because there's that whole, oh, we've been using the wall as our maximum security prison for the last 6,000 years. And
Yeah.
now we actually need real people to man it, and no one cares. The only person, that's the reason why Stannis is like the real one true king, right? He's the only, there's only one real threat, and that's the White Walkers. That's the
Yeah.
real threat, folks. It's not this fucking bullshit. It's, oh yeah, the dead are rising, and they're going to come murder us all. So we better have someone protecting us, and that's the rapists and murderers of the wall.
Yeah, no, it's you know what? Fuck you if you think Game of Thrones is a bad show for not being diverse. Like this is it's so well woven fiction. Like there's so much going on and none of it feels cheap.
Who needs black people when you have dragons? It's like it just fits the time period better.
Like any other show or series or whatever would have killed Ned Stark the same way if it had any balls, but that would have been its shock moment and it would have been normal. Like the reason why Game of Thrones is so good is George R. R. Martin has created this universe where no one is safe.
Ever
And
safe.
there is a looming threat, but it happens so infrequent. It's a legend, and no one believes it except for the people that have seen it, and no one believes them because their guardianship or whatever, has been used as a prison. Like
Yeah, they're the maximum security prison of Westeros. And the other thing that's kind of messed up is we also kind of forget that, what are they gonna like? Literally, there's like 20 castles. There's like 400 people. Like, there's not many people on the wall. There's not like thousands and thousands of soldiers, and no one like even gives a shit. Like, no one, they could not care less about what is happening at the wall.
yeah, well, except that, the one person who did.
Is Stannis? Stannis the only one
No,
who
not
cares.
Stannis.
Melisandre cares.
No, I was gonna say Ned Stark, and then he was killed in the first season. Like.
Yeah, well,
Because he was the Warden of the North. It was in his domain. He cared, and now no one is Warden of the North. Robb probably cared too, except he was busy fighting a war and got murdered.
and let's talk about another person from the North and how kind of fucked up it is. One of the things I don't like about Game of Thrones is the fucking torture of Theon Greyjoy, which we can all agree that Theon sucks. But the brutal torture
It was
happened
not like.
for, it's uncomfortable. It made me sad. Like, I really, in the books, he
It's
gets
just as
captured.
bad. It's worse in the books.
Well, at least he just kind of becomes Reek. Like, at least there's not like 4 episodes of him just getting tortured.
Well,
like,
yeah,
all
but
day.
see, the difference is in the book, he's like Theon disappears, and then Reek is there, and then it's revealed that Reek is Theon. They couldn't do that in the show because unless they like grossly disfigured him, you would look at him and say, "Oh, that's Theon Greyjoy."
Sure.
But because it was written, it was slowly revealed that this Reek, this person that Ramsay Bolton was like treating like a dog, like he was a human dog, was actually a captured Theon Greyjoy. So they kind of had to it was revealed how tortured he had been.
Oh no, I understand. It was just hard to watch. Like, that was the thing.
Oh,
A lot of that stuff happened off screen. Like, you understand that it's awful. Like, obviously that Bolton kid's a bad guy and he's doing horrible things, but you don't have to like physically read about his horrible torture all the time.
And then
That's
it
what was
turns out
tough.
It's Simon from Misfits is Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't. It's not that he did. Like, I understand why they do it, but the fact that they do so much of it on screen, it's tough for me. Like, I don't like that. I don't mind
I
violence.
understand.
It's the torture. Like, oh, like, yeah,
You're not
he's
a fan of 24, are you?
no, I'm not. I don't watch 24. But like, I don't like torture porn. I don't like Saw. I think Saw is awful.
Whoa!
I hate Saw.
Whoa! The first Saw movie is amazing.
Did
Yeah,
he have
but
to
it's
cut
still
off?
torture porn, so
It's not. No,
I-
the first Saw movie is a really intense thriller. Everything after that is total crap.
Did
But the
some guy have to
only-
cut off? Did some guy have to cut off his own arm
Leg.
for no real reason, except some guy told him to?
No, there were reasons. They were both just like it was basically a vigilante thing.
But it
Yeah,
was still basically because there's no reason. Just,
like you could have just killed that guy if it's a vigilante thing. You didn't have to make him have
It is,
hours of
but they don't
agonizing
even
pain.
like they don't show it.
It's not the point, dude. I'm talking about. I don't like random torture of people. I don't.
Well, see,
I
that's the
don't
thing.
mind the
It's like,
Punisher. I don't mind the Punisher going around shooting people. I don't mind that. I do mind
You
torturing
don't like
people. That
people
bothers me.
suffering.
No, because suffering is. We can all relate to suffering, and when I see someone suffering via torture, that is, to me, it's really hard. I can't deal with it. I'm not saying you have to be, you're wrong for liking it. I
No,
don't
no, I
like
don't.
it.
I mean, I
And
don't like it. I think it.
no, some people
It.
like it. Some
Oh
people
no, I
fucking get
don't
off
like
on
it.
it.
I just think in the few instances we've mentioned, except maybe 24 gets a little overboard sometimes. But I mean, I think it's used as an effective narrative tool. That doesn't mean I want to watch it or think it's good or anything.
There are a lot of
Sorry,
people
like
who
I guess we were just a little miscommunication there. But yeah, no, I agree. It's incredibly uncomfortable to watch, and it did drag on a little bit. That was the thing too. Is when it was happening, I'm sitting there because it's been, man, I read those books I read all of them. I hadn't been reading them for years, but I read all of them maybe like 6 months to a year before book 5 came out. Um, and like I said, like we just talked about, Reek was revealed to have been a tortured Theon, and when they start torturing him, I'm like, I thought he just was like, didn't he just turn into Reek? Like, what's going? Like, I don't remember this. I don't remember the almost throwaway line about how Theon was castrated.
yeah.
I don't like I had to look that up to see if that actually happened in the book because I did not remember that because I mean even Reek's chapters in the books were really uncomfortable and they weren't nearly as graphic as in the show.
No, they're super tough, and again, that was probably the thing I liked least about the season, is having to deal with the brutal torture, and also in the books, what's her name does not come and try to save Theon and then leave. That was the dumbest fucking thing ever. Okay, she is there. Her brother is fucked up. Bolton's standing there. They all have axes. Just throw one at him. Then he's fucking dead, and then this problem's over. But she's like, "Oh well, I guess I'm gonna stand here and look at you for a couple seconds and then leave."
And
That was
that because the way they reveal her in the book, I was excited to see on the screen, and they didn't do it because in the book, like Theon escapes or he gets released, and he's going back to whatever the kingdom at sea, whatever it's called, the Iron
The Iron
Isles.
Islands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but whatever the island's called, and like he's riding he like quote unquote seduces like a country girl and is riding the horse with her and trying to finger her, and then she reveals that, oh, I'm your sister, you've just been gone for so long that you don't remember what I look like.
Yeah, and that was when he escaped. Rob actually lets him go to go get the Iron Islands on his side. He doesn't escape.
Yeah, okay.
Rob lets him
You're
go.
right.
Say, hey, go get the Iron Islands for me, buddy. And then he betrays Rob. But yeah, I mean, believe me, no one likes Theon. Theon's an asshole. But when you see a human being tortured for hours on television, it probably becomes a bit much for some people. And at least it did for me.
Yeah, well, Theon, I still don't like him, but he becomes a much more interesting character that I was interested in following his story of after he gets tortured.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Just like Jamie was not interesting until he got he got his hand cut off and was a prisoner for months.
Jamie was knocking up his sister. I think that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, but it was disgusting.
And no more disgusting than Reek being tortured.
No, that was disgusting too.
I said no more disgusting.
But the difference is I wasn't interested in seeing the torture, just like I wasn't interested in reading about Jamie banging his sister.
This is true. The weird rape scene in this Game of Thrones is kind of fucked up too. That does not happen. There's no like we're gonna fuck on our son's coffin thing.
Yeah,
that was
There is a weird, uncomfortable sex scene. It's just not there.
Yeah, it was super weird, and it was on their son's coffin basically, and that was fucking uber fucked up.
But I mean, it was a good representation if you know how to read into things, because Jamie is realizing certain things, and like it's like shattering his worldview.
Yeah,
and that's one of those moments of like him realizing everything that's happened and whose fault it is.
Yeah, Jamie realizes that Cersei is a horrible
awful.
person.
Yeah, she's
like
he's realizing she's terrible, and like but this was this person he loves, so it's like this weird conflicting emotions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Cersei's terrible and everyone hates her for good reason, and everything bad that happens to Cersei is a good thing for people, pretty much.
Lena Headey is such a good actress.
She is. I saw someone actually had a good cosplay of Cersei Lannister, and I wrote, now I absolutely fucking hate you. I think you're a giant horrible person. You did a very good job with this costume. Because when I see Cersei Lannister, I go, oh, just fuck you.
Hate.
Fucking hate you. So what do we miss from season 4 of Game of Thrones? What did we miss?
The eyeball popping.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. No,
The most fantastic scene ever.
That was just as brutal as it was in the book.
Yeah.
But they showed that, okay, for all of those who haven't read the book, it was hinted at and like talked about in whispers how what's his face was like basically turning the mountain into Frankenstein, but they showed it, yeah, the Qyburn, they show it in the show, which I'm totally fine with, but like that's still, because where that happens, I mean, it's not really a spoiler. They haven't done anything with that yet, but
yeah, so that's when they introduce Qyburn, which we'll get into more in the next seasons, I'm sure. But yeah, it's kind of that scene, that big fight with the Red Viper and his...
both of them died. Like, technically, both of them died.
Yeah.
That's the thing that they don't really make clear in the show, is that, no, like, the mountain was, like, he was dying, and they're doing something, like, awful to him to keep him alive, and it's not the same. It's not that... I mean, Sir Gregor was already a fucking psychopath, but it's not that psychopath anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the problem is it's one of those things where you really like the Red Viper. Like, he's a good character.
Yeah, no, he was great. And when he died, it was just as shocking as it was in the book.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck. It's like, oh. And then it's just like, oh, that's just a shitty way to die. And then they have this girlfriend there freaking out, and everyone else freaks out. And then in the book, Tyrion vomits because he's like, really? Like, he's like, I'm going to fucking win. This is awesome. And then it's just like, oh, now he's dead. And then he just, like, gives up. And I think in the book he throws up and faints, and that was the end of his chapter. Because it was a Tyrion chapter, the battle. So, yeah, that was brutal, and it was very well done. The courtroom scene was wonderful. The fake courtroom scene, when Tyrion just basically gets to tell everyone to go fuck themselves. By the way, I saved this fucking city. This city would be fucking owned by Stannis right now if I did not save everyone. So,
and he did.
Thanks.
And it's the truth. Like, he did. He found the wildfire. He organized troop placement. He did everything.
Yep.
Sure. Wait, yeah, doesn't Tywin arrives, but at the end. Like, it's over.
Tywin, well, that battle really ended when the ships got all fucked up. Like, once the Blackwater turns green and all those ships light on fire, that's pretty all done.
Yeah.
Like, Stannis has the best army because he is on Dragonstone, and they need ships because they're obviously like a little, like, peninsula island. So, yeah, once Stannis' whole navy gets fucked, he's pretty screwed in general.
Yeah.
So I think we got most of the stuff. That's great.
It was a really good season. There was a lot to discuss.
There was. Did we miss anything on your end, Dustin?
Trying to think, but I think that's pretty much it. When is the next season supposed to start?
March, April-ish, whatever, like that time of year.
What book are we at right now on the show?
Well, we're in the middle of like 3, 4, and 5. Like, we still have stuff to cover for 3, 4, and 5.
The timeline is off, but the thing is,
kind of followed the book, but then it like kind of started.
Well, the thing is books 4 and 5 happen at the exact same time.
In different areas of the world.
In different areas of the book 4 focuses on what's happening in King's Landing and Dorne and basically the south of Westeros, and then book 5 focuses on the Wall and Easteros, Daenerys and Arya and Bran and it could well Bran's north of the wall, and then was
It's
Stannis four
basically
or
south.
five?
It's south and west versus north and east.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're gonna just do it all at once, slowly.
Yeah, Stannis is in 5. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that they were broken up when I was reading 4, and I'm not
Neither
finished
did
with
I. I
5 yet.
thought because I knew that one of the books was broken up, but I thought it was 3 and 4, and then that wasn't like that, so I was confused. And then I started reading 5, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, 4 gets kind of frustrating because there's no Tyrion and there's no Arya. There's like all these fucking great characters. And like, why the fuck? Why hasn't there been a Tyrion chapter yet? This sucks.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few times when I'm like, why haven't I heard the name Tyrion in like 6?
And there were so many Sansa chapters.
Yeah, there's lots of Sansa coming up. They have lots of stuff to do with Sansa, who is not interesting.
But nothing. Yeah, they have a lot to do, but none of it's interesting.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff for.
They also like Sansa ruins Littlefinger too.
Spoiler alert.
No,
Yo.
it's not a spoiler. I just don't because he's in her chapters, and I don't like her chapters.
There you go. So there you go. The next season will most likely be some amalgamation of 4 and 5. I don't know how they'll do it. I'm assuming they're going to start going to Dorne at some point because they kind of need to get some of those characters.
Iron Isles.
They might go to the Iron Isles. I would assume they would because that's probably the reason why they did the whole sister trying to save Theon thing. There's a bunch of stuff they have to do in the Iron Isles. And they obviously are going to do Arya because they kind of ended on one of Arya's things, which is probably the coolest. It's the coolest thing in the fucking book.
No, I really like Bran. You don't like Bran.
I don't like Bran.
But
yeah,
Arya is
great.
definitely.
By the way, in where we should be in the books, like they missed a big character in Bran's story, and you'll be lucky where they just didn't show you 10 chapters of him running through the fucking woods. There are literally like 4 chapters of them being cold, starving, north of the wall, and completely hosed.
But they have lots of interesting discussions, and they do a lot of the warg stuff, and I liked that.
See, I wasn't big on the warg stuff. Like, yeah,
I like because it's magic. Everyone loved Daenerys because dragons, but I thought the magic was more interesting because Daenerys' stories stopped being interesting after the dragons were born.
Yeah, hers became like she's like an administrator now,
and
basically.
Just like Bran suffered, like they cut down the suffering and the starving because like Bran suffered and starved in the woods, and Daenerys fucking suffered and starved through like half a book in the Red Wastes.
Yeah.
And they skipped. That was like 5 minutes in a single episode.
Yeah.
Was like 8 chapters worth of starving.
And how woe is me and how terrible everything is.
Yeah. No. Now we're gonna get a whole season of that.
Yes. Well. Yes. I'm sure we will. So there you go. That's season 4 of Game of Thrones. One of the most watched shows on HBO history, one of the most pirated shows in the history of the internet. Basically, something that people would pay for to the point where they can't pay for it. They just take it. And HBO, on record, saying they don't care. They just want people to watch this. Yes, that when episode 1 came out, it was the most pirated show ever for 24 hours. And the vice president of HBO said, "We don't give a shit because we know we're going to get your money somehow. If we're not getting it, if you're gonna pirate it, most likely you're gonna buy our stuff. You're gonna buy the DVDs, because we give you extra stuff. You might get HBO. They told you if you had an HBO Go account to share your password with people. So
they did.
They absolutely did.
I'm glad I have a shared HBO Go password.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so that's
They want people to show. They want people to see their stuff. Yeah, if you type in HBO, share HBO Go account, the first thing is from TechCrunch. HBO doesn't care if you share your HBO Go account. They totally want you to. They want as many people as possible to see their awesome programming because they know that is going to make them more money than giving a shit if someone's paying for HBO or not.
That's pretty fantastic.
HBO knows the game. At some point, they're going to get away from this cable provider thing where you have to get 6 million channels, and you're going to be able to subscribe to 2 channels, and everyone's going to subscribe to HBO instead of spending $90 a month on cable. So there you go. If you have an HBO account, go account, share it with your friends. If you don't pirate it if you don't have to, guys, but it's great, and HBO doesn't give a shit because they want you to see their amazing work, and they did do amazing work. It was a great season.
It really was. So does anyone else have anything else they want to mention before we leave? The Steam summer sale is going on. You should all be buying games on Steam. If you have a gaming PC, obviously.
Or, a MacBook or anything, because there's a lot of great indie titles that'll run on like a
Yeah.
toaster.
Anything.
The
Yeah.
Steam summer sale got me into Steam trading cards.
Yeah, they got me into just, selling everything.
No, so did I. Yeah, that's what I got into. I for like half a second I almost got into like crafting badges and shit, and then I started selling my doubles, and they sold really fast, and some of them sold for a decent like I mean it's like my average sold cards like 20 cents or something, but it's like I get trading. I've now gotten into the habit of leaving games running all the time to collect trading cards to then sell and then buy games that I want to play.
How long do you have to keep a game running for it to collect a trading card?
Depends on the game. I don't. There's really no set time.
Does the menu count, or do you have to actually like start?
No,
up?
it has to just be running. Like you
Oh,
don't have to be playing. Like right now, Brutal Legend is sitting on the options menu because I turned off the sound and shit. So if anyone else wanted to use the computer, it'd still work, in the other room. And I've collected 3 trading cards while we've been recording.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a
And
way to
I've-
find out like
So,
which
and I've
cards
gained another $1
are worth
in trading
like,
card
the most?
sales. When you click on them, you'll see at the bottom what the average selling price is, and then you just click sell, and it'll say like here's what you want to sell the card for, and then it'll give you the breakdown of like what the person buys it for and how much you get because Steam takes a cut.
Of course they
I
do.
know that, but like, what
No, it
about like
shows you average
web-
like it'll tell you how many cards have been sold in a 24-hour period of the one you have, and what the last like what the cheapest one is selling for.
I know that, but like, what about like a third-party website that kind of like tells you what games offer like the most?
I'm sure just go on
cards?
Wikipedia. I'm sure just Google Steam trading cards, and there'll be a Wikipedia entry with every card with trading cards.
'Cause
Or
I
if you want
can't,
someone to like monitor the Steam fucking trading card forum to see what's selling for the most and basically play this like stocks, go fuck yourself.
You can go to the steamtradingcards.wikia.com. Steamtradingcards.wikia.com. It seems to be the number one place
Don't
there.
play the system. There's so little money in here. It's not worth spending your time doing.
But
Learn
that's
how to trade stocks.
That's like what I did for like 6 months straight in World of Warcraft when I got tired of playing it. I just started playing the stock market to the point where Blizzard actually gave me like a week-long ban for breaking their system.
Yeah, when you used to use Auctioneer, you could make fucking ass loads of money. Like you would just play it like the stock market. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna run this thing. Okay, this is what's selling cheap. Buy it all up. Put it back up. Oh yeah, you'd make tons of money. I didn't do as bad as you did, Dustin. I was never banned for it, but I definitely made enough money to not have to farm when I played, just playing the auction house.
Yeah, it was like so easy too, especially with that add-on. It's like you could be eating cereal and then just clicking with the other hand and then go about your day, come back, and you're rich.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. Awesome.
At least what I'm doing is giving me real money to buy Steam games with.
You could sell your account. I sold my account once. Made some money. Took it back later because that was illegal. I wasn't supposed to do that. So, that's how it goes.
That's such a dick move.
No, actually what I did was I sold it to one of my friends, and because, I need a couple bucks, and he wanted to play a druid. And he stopped playing it for like 2 years. I'm like, do you still have my account? He's like, yeah, I don't care. And I'm like, oh, I'll just log in. And it was taken by, he sold it to somebody else, and I took it from that person.
So you're still a terrible person, but
I'm terrible person once removed. I didn't say he could sell my character. I only said that he could sell it. He changed the character name too, so he was the really bad person. He changed the character name, so he was a bad person. I blame him.
Awful people everywhere.
man, these Brutal Legend cards sell for 6 cents. It's terrible.
Exactly. That's why you need to find like a game with cards that are, worth something.
I just want all of the cards. I want to get rid of all of my trading cards.
Oh, you're just like going through your existing inventory.
I'm farming.
What you
No,
do-
I am now collecting. I'm booting up all the games that I own that have trading cards and letting them gather and selling all of them.
Yeah, you can go to the Steam trading card game Wikia, and they have all the how does it work shit.
I just want to see how much money I'll get in total by the time I'm done. if I'm hoping to get enough to buy Wolfenstein because I want my own copy because I'm playing Alex's copy and I want my own. I want to get Wolfenstein achievements and trading cards.
Awesome.
Wolfenstein's really good, by the
Okay.
way. We'll talk about it another time. But
We'll talk about it another time.
New Order is fucking amazing. I don't know why it is, but it's really good. All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, and go read.
Time for plugs.
Go read Jared's Cards Against Humanity Can Go Suck a Bigger Blacker Dick article.
Best
Yay.
title ever.
Yeah, that was a really good title. You wrote a really good article.
I did. Thank
We'll
you.
have to maybe we'll talk about it next week too.
There you go. We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can go do that. You can look at my Twitter, which is MetalJared. You can go to our website, which is geekenstein.com, for lots of game reviews and nonsense and fun times. And and you guys play lots and lots of video games. There's lots and lots of videos to watch them
Yes.
playing video
Oh,
games.
Saturday we're recording another In the Lab, and we've got a nice selection of games, including Secret Ponchos, Lifeless Planet. I don't know. I kind of want to play. I couldn't get I was supposed to stream Wolfenstein the other day, but every time I tried to stream Wolfenstein, OBS crashed. So I don't know why. I got to figure that out. But yeah, check that out. I'm at Xanthus, and yes, check Geekenstein.
Dustin, you good?
I may be wrapping up an article, top 10 more gaming trends that need to die, following up on the success of my original. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. And you can follow me everywhere on the internet just with my name, Dustin Triplet, because I'm too lazy to think up a better name.
That's good branding right there. Good job.
I'm seeing Transformers tomorrow, so there'll be a review of that up. Probably won't be that positive.
That movie has dinosaurs in it.
It
Dinosaurs.
does have dinosaurs in it, and I do love me some dinosaurs.
Okay, guys. It's
Bye,
been fun.
everyone. Yes, this has been great. Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.